Okay, good to go. Like I said, chat, raise your hands, ask questions, all your good stuff. We get the questions a lot of, do we raise capital? So I'll address that at the beginning. Yes, me and this team do raise cap or help other firms raise capital, through these events, investor events. There's different ways of getting involved with them. B, we also do events for other people, like funds that are looking to raise capital. We'll help them host events. We also have a program that does investor referrals. If there's interest in either of those, please reach out to myself or Jason Strand, who's also on this call and will be at the event. But we get questions all the time of, hey, will you come be on our cap table, come help us raise money, and yada yada yada. Those are usually the only two ways that we do help folks raise capital, with few exceptions. But happy to chat about any of those to you guys in the future. Just let us know. We have a handful of different levels here. I know just looking through the names on who, the 80, 90 people that are on this right now, we have family offices that are worth a crap ton of money. We also have brand new fundraisers that are just starting to fundraise for their first time fund. So there's a wide variety in here. So keep in mind the material is going to be kind of catered to both. I want to give an overview of just what works for these events and what doesn't. Some of you guys will be like, oh, this is stupid, this is basic, this is normal. Other guys will be like, wow, this is mind-blowing, this is crazy. Either way, they're effective tactics. They're what helped my dad raise billions of dollars from events like these. They're what's helped us build these events to where they are. So the tactics are usable, but keep in mind, we have a variety of people here that are in different levels. Like I said, no guarantee. The results come from how you approach and how you follow up. And I want to emphasize that I've had, we had our Dallas event April of last year. A bunch of people talked to me afterwards. Some of them were like, that was the worst event I've ever been to. I don't think I met a single investor. Other guys were like, that was the best event I've ever been to. I raised 15 million from just meeting people at that event. And I realized that these people aren't going to different events. These people are treating these events differently. These events are purely what you put into them. We guarantee there are people here that have capital. We guarantee there are high level, high caliber people. It's in how you approach the room that will determine if it's successful for you. We'll keep going. Okay, first off, I know some of you have kind of heard what these events are, why we do them, stuff like that. I'm just going to go over a brief overview. The bottom line is other conferences didn't have investors at them. This isn't a rip on other conferences. I'm good friends with guys that host big old family office summits and events and things like that. We love them. They're great. They're great for deal flow. But as I went to more events, I saw there was a need in the market for events that were catered towards high net worths that were more networking focused. So what we did is we created these events to be kind of different than the rest. Most other events out there have a lot more fundraisers than they do allocators. And that's because the hosts make more money that way. The host can charge the fundraisers, fill up the room with 95% fundraisers, and then they're happy. The problem is it's difficult to raise money at those events because everybody else there is looking for capital. And on the flip side, when you go to those events as allocators, as the family office, I went representing my dad's office a few times, and I realized after a while, you're not the VIP, you're the bait. You're the product in that regard. And so like I said, they're not productive for allocators or for fundraisers. We've tried to fix that with the attendee ratio at these events being about 80, 85% allocators, 15 to 20% fundraisers. The second differentiating factor is the presentations. There's plenty of other events out there where you can watch 9-10 hours of pitches and panels and stuff like that. They're very good educational based. You learn a lot of good opportunities there. These events are not that. These events, we have 20, 30 minutes total of presentation time. The majority of these events are networking because that's the goal. I'll get on stage on Friday after people get done presenting and say, hey, you're not here to listen to us, guys. We appreciate your attention for the past 20 minutes, but you're here to network and get to know each other. That's why we have 5-6 hours of networking, because that's the focus of these events. And then the last portion that makes these events unique is the venue. Other events are in conference centers and hotels. Ours are in Mar-a-Lago and Formula One and jet hangars. It's unique, it's fun, it's sexy, it's incentivizing for high net worth folks to want to come to these events because it's a fun venue and it's full of people like them so they can have that peer-to-peer networking. Okay, that's the premise of the events. For the day of schedule, and again, I know some of you have been to our events before, so this is more of a refresher for those and letting the new people know how it works. Doors open at 6. Arrive early, network in line. We might open doors a little bit before 6 if it's cold, but basically take advantage of the time. I know these events aren't 2 to 3 days. That's on purpose because other events, people get pretty worn out after day 2. We try and keep them shorter, but it makes it so you have limited time. So take advantage of that time. I would also mention take advantage of the side events. I've been reposting them on LinkedIn. We're posting them on the different WhatsApp threads that are out there. There's a bunch going on Thursday. There's a bunch going on Friday morning. There's a bunch going on Saturday and Saturday afternoon. Take advantage of those because you'll meet more people, you'll build more relationships, it'll be a lot better. And like I said, we'll continually be posting those side events on the Jets Capital LinkedIn and Instagram, on my LinkedIn and Instagram. Take advantage of those. After doors open, 6:15, 6:30-ish is when presentations begin. Those will be brief. We should be wrapped up well before 7, honestly, there. Networking starts at sometime around 7, and then you're just networking there in the hangar until the end of the night. Technically, kickout is 10:30. Some people leave before that. A lot of folks try and stay after. That's why we have after parties and stuff like that. But like I said, take advantage of everything happening there. During the networking, we've got a couple bars, we've got food, there are planes there you can take tours of and take pictures with. We're trying to see if we can get some cars in the room. It's really just socializing and cocktail hour for 4 or 5 hours. So take advantage of that, have fun with it. I would definitely get dinner before. There's not going to be meals there, but there will be refreshments and stuff like that, like I said. Okay. Attendee designations. We've got the allocators and the fundraisers. Allocators are family offices, high net worths, investors, wealth managers, RIAs, blah, blah, blah. You get it. Fundraisers are capital raisers, founders, fund managers, service providers, etc. One thing I would keep in mind, over 50% of this room are what I call hybrids, and they're a mix of these. And I say that because I have a lot of people that I meet that are like, oh, that guy was raising money. And I tell them, yeah, well, that guy also is trying to deploy a couple $100 million. And they're like, oh, I thought he was raising capital. And you got to keep in mind, the majority of people that are in that allocator category, they're not sitting on their butts, just looking for deals and hoping things come across their desk. Most folks that I know, when they have an exit, they get bored. They have some money that they're looking to diversify, but they're also putting it into some brand new project. They have something that they're building. One example, our last Salt Lake event. I met this billionaire guy at a U of U game a couple weeks before and was getting to know him, sat down with him, and I was like, hey, now that you just had this big old exit, what's your big needs? What are you looking for right now? And he's like, oh, I'm actually raising money for a venture capital fund. And I looked at him like, didn't you just exit to MasterCard for like 1.3 or something like that? The dude's got plenty of cash, but he's also trying to raise money for this new gig. And so I'd keep that in mind, guys, of when you're meeting people, just because they say, oh, I'm raising money for something, doesn't mean they're strictly a fundraiser. Most of the time, they are an allocator that also has a project that they're working on. So getting to know them, building that relationship, seeing what they're working on, why they're interested in it, that's extremely important as you're going about this. Any questions on those attendee designations before we keep going? Okay, cool. Good stuff. Okay. Allocator types. The Wall Street guys might get mad about this, but this is how we define it over here. Sorry, I categorize allocators into 2 different categories. the institutional guys and the normal people, as we call them. Institutional guys are the stereotypically, they're the ones that like the speed dating deal flow conventions. They're the ones that sit down with you and they're like, all right, Bob, I don't care about you. I don't know you. Show me your pitch deck. Show me the numbers. I'll tell you if we like you or not. That's it. They don't want to build a relationship. They don't care about you as a person. They don't want to get to know you really, aside from getting to know your track record. Their main priority and focus is the deal. In my experience, that's about a third, 30% of the capital that's out there. They're beneficial. You can get cash from them. I would say that the majority of the people at these events are the other category, the normal folks. And I say normal meaning these guys are family offices, guys and gals, sorry, are family offices, high net worth investors, regular folks that are looking to build relationships and then deploy capital. And I say that because these normal people, when we're in fundraising mode, I feel like our EQ goes out the window. I feel like we sit there and we're like, okay, I need money. I'm going to go around and start asking people if they're investing and if they have money and if they're interested in multifamily syndications in Houston, Texas for A and B class. You know, suddenly we go from being able to build relationships and get to know people to I'm in fundraising mode. I got to ask them if they're interested in my deal. And keep in mind as you're at this event, as you're raising capital and building relationships with these people, is you need to build a relationship. These guys don't do deals. My dad does not do deals with people because the deal is good. We do deals with people because we have built a relationship and we like the people. It doesn't matter the industry. Half the time, it doesn't matter the return profile. The priority is, do we like them as people? Do we want to do business with them? So keep that in mind. If you need to focus on building the relationship with people at this event, anyone that's gone around our events saying, hi, I have a deal. Do you have money? Hey, I have a deal. Are you one of the investors here? Most of those investors are going to say no because they don't want to talk to you. And most of those guys aren't going to raise capital because, you know, they're not prioritizing the relationship. So make sure you're prioritizing that relationship. Investors are normal people. Get to know them and build relationships as normal people. Steps for raising capital. This is just a brief breakdown. I know there's a million more. Getting in the room, I feel like a lot of people think that's the final step. Most people think, oh, I've got a perfect deal that everyone's going to love because I love it. And the only thing I'm missing is getting in the room with people with capital. That's not always the case. And we found that with these events, when we started doing them, we started putting people in the room and then people still weren't raising capital. And we're like, okay, what's happening here? You know, we've got people that are verified to be looking for deals. They're even sometimes looking for the exact type of deal that this fundraiser has, but they're not raising capital. What's happening? And it's the relationships. Like I've said before, it's people need to prioritize those. Just because you're in the room on Friday with 200 billion total in AUM and net worth doesn't mean you're guaranteed to raise capital. Just because you're in a nice suit or a nice dress, just because you've got a deal, doesn't mean you can step in the room and suddenly have investors just flocking to you and desperately asking and begging you for your deal and begging you to give you money. That's not how it works. There is money in this room. We can guarantee that. But you need to build relationships with them first and keep that in mind. Any questions before we keep going? Either I put you all to sleep or I'm doing a decent job. Still trying to figure that out.
Well, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So in terms of like a pitch deck or something to actually, show an investor, do you think that we should be prepared for that at this event?
You can, yes.
Okay.
I had a client ask me that the other day, and we're actually putting a pitch deck together for him. Specifically be ready for Friday. What I told him, and he's actually on this call, is have it with you, bring it in a backpack if you need to, or just have a stack with you. But don't be the guy that's leading with that pitch deck. I would not be, or don't be the gal that's running around leading with the pitch deck. You don't want to be the, hello, will you please take a look at my deck? Because keep in mind, the relationship is the most biggest priority. I'll go over this a little bit later, but investors are not desperate for deals. And so if you're going around telling them, hey, all I have is a deal, there's not much incentive for them to build a relationship with you. If it's you building a relationship with them, getting to know them, seeing what they're working on, seeing how to bring them value, things like that, and then they ask you what you're working on, and then you tell them what you're working on, and they're like, oh, well, that's cool. I'm curious. I'd like to learn more. Oh, how convenient. I have a pitch deck. Let me show you. Having it be an add-on to an existing conversation is extremely beneficial. But if you're going around having that be what you're leading with, not as beneficial. Does that help?
That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, absolutely. So yes, bring it. Don't have that be your hyper focus. So check the chat. Okay, cool.
Sorry, Jordan. I'm kind of blowing the chat out. I'm working through this, everybody. Thank you.
You're good. No worries. Thanks, Matt. Okay. Any other questions before we keep going, guys? Okay. Okay. Like I said, people get different results from these events. What differentiates them is two things: your product and how you work the room. Your product is a big one. I had to put that note of not just an idea, because we've had that a lot before where people come to these events. They're like, oh, I'm raising money for this thing that I came up with last week, and it's a concept, and if you could just give us money, then we could bring it to life. Those aren't the deals that we want at these events. Those don't come across as professional. There needs to be something tangible, whether it's a track record or a deck or something existing where it's a deal that you're actively working on, not just having an idea that you're coming up with and that you're hoping an investor will throw money at you because you've got a good idea. So keep that in mind of not just an idea, it has to be an actual product. A big thing with your product and offering, I want to say this nicely, but get feedback about your deal. I've had a handful of folks that they're going around trying to raise money and they're talking to investors that are specifically looking into their industry and nothing's happening. A lot of times they're more focused on my deal's perfect, you just need to give me money, when they should be more focused on, hey, this is what we're putting together. What are your thoughts? What feedback do you have? These are investors that, she has tons of experience in this particular space. Maybe they're better at giving feedback than writing a check. So keep that in mind. And then how you work the room, building the relationships, not being pushy, not being soliciting, keeping in mind that this is a high caliber, high value room. Part of the reason that most high net worths don't like going to conferences is because when they show up, they get tackled and get a bunch of business cards thrown at their face. It's a bunch of people saying, oh, that's an investor. That's a family office. They have money. I have a deal. Let's go talk to them. That's why they don't like going to conferences. The reason that they like coming to these events is because we've built an environment where it's not like those other ones. It's not them getting hounded, and it's not people trying to shove their deals down their face. It's casual, it's chill, it's, hey, we're both high level. Let's build a relationship and get to know each other. Voss, you got a question? Voss, do I need to unmute you? Allow to talk, yes. Okay, Voss, you should be able to chat now. Let me know if it's liking you.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you. Yeah, I was just curious, do you recommend at this event, given the caliber and everything, to exchange business cards and all that sort of stuff, or
100%.
just get
Yeah.
to know people, get contact? I don't know if that was like not recommended.
No, definitely exchange business cards. I'll go over this at the end, but your goal with meeting people here should be to impress the crap out of them, get their contact info, and then make them want to have a conversation with you. It should not be to, hey,
Pitch.
nice to meet you. Hope we cross
Yeah.
paths in the future. Hope God brings us together somehow. It shouldn't be the other end too. It shouldn't be okay, I need to make sure you've heard every single aspect of my pitch and that and that you've seen every page of my deck and you know everything about me. It should not be that. You don't have time for that, and that doesn't come across as professional. you're not going to build good relationships there. You
Yeah.
want to have them like you enough to want to have a conversation with you later. And yes, they need your business cards and stuff in order to do that.
Yeah, this is another very practical question. It's probably a silly question, but
Never silly.
weather-wise, we're out in a kind of, it's a little colder than Florida.
Yep.
So
Yep.
any recommendations there on
We are going to have, you'll see in this picture, we've got the hangar doors open. That's because it's Utah in September and it was warm enough to do that. With this
Okay.
being Vegas in January, we will not have the hangar doors open. We've got a
Okay.
really big hangar this time where you can fit 3 or 4 jets in there and a bunch of stuff. But because of the weather and TSA regulations, we will not have the hangar doors open. So it'll be relatively warm in there. I'd wear a suit coat. Ladies wear a jacket. It is kind of cold there. Jay, it's what, 50s, 60s there right now?
Yeah, I think the highest is like 60 something, and then it drops into the lowest would maybe be high 40s.
Okay. So for any of you South Florida people, it is freezing. Bring a jacket. For the rest of us, also bring a jacket.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good, Jordan. Thank you.
No, thanks, Ross. Appreciate you. Okay, cool. We'll keep going.
Will there be a code check?
Riz, have we done a code check here yet? I don't
Yes,
think
we can have one.
we can have one. Okay. Talk to Kelly about that. So yes, there will be a code check.
Okay, great.
Beautiful. Any other questions before we keep going?
Is there a list of investors that you have already put together we can take a look at?
So the list of investors is something that's reserved just for the sponsors. Part of their packages is they'll pay to get that list. With that, we'll usually sit down with them before handing that list over to make sure they're going to treat it properly, if you will. If I ever hear that our sponsors did, a bunch of cold emails, like 10, 20 in a row to our investors pestering them, we'll have a serious conversation there. Because part of that is investors, when they register, they have the option to put, yes, I consent to my information being shared with sponsors that have deals. They, most of the time, will give us that permission because they trust the process that we go through. They trust we're not going to just share that data with everybody. They trust that the people who are going to get that are going to be prepped in knowing how to properly use that information and that we're not going to abuse that. Because part of that is, like I said, we've built relationships with, even family offices and investors on this call to make it so they trust us to provide them with a good experience that maintains what's important to them. And part of that is privacy and, making sure that their information aren't just being thrown everywhere. So with that, no, there's other events out there. Like I said, there's those speed dating deal conferences. They have the more institutional types. Those ones, they do give out all the contact info of the investors. And that's because the investors want to get inundated with deals. They want people throwing deals at them left and right. And it's usually not even an investor. It's a CIO or an analyst that their job is to go through as much deal flow as possible. They want that deal flow. The investors that go to our events are more focused, like I said, on their relationships, and the deals come after those relationships. So if you're interested in the investor list, we can chat about sponsorships for this or future events, depending on openings. But in general, that's not something that we send out, if that helps.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Good question. Thanks for asking. Teven, you got a question?
Good morning, Jordan.
Good morning.
My question goes back to what Anna was speaking about.
Yeah.
So you don't do a list of investors, no contact information, but just to know who's in the room, or a list of total attendees, maybe?
We can get, yeah, absolutely. If you want a list of total attendees and stuff like that.
It's understandable that the contact information, wouldn't be on there, but at least we have a little idea.
Yeah, we can get you something. Keep in mind, we try and, after each event, tally everything up of the people that actually showed up, what industries did they represent? How much liquid capital did they have total? What was their total AUM and net worth total? That helps us get an idea of, where are they coming from? Who are they? What types of people are going to these events? So yeah, reach out to me after this, or Marissa or
Okay.
Megan, and we can get you something there. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind, guys, my goal is to help you guys succeed. I want everybody here who's a service provider to book clients. I want everybody here who's a fundraiser to raise capital. I want everybody here who's an investor to meet other investors and have that peer-to-peer networking and also find some good deals that they're looking to get into. I want everybody to succeed in that regard. And that's our goal with these events. Okay, Voss and TVN, your guys' hands are still up if you want to put those down. Joe, you got a question?
Hey Jordan, how's it going, man?
Let's see you, dude. Are you bringing your cowboy hat this time?
Absolutely, I bring it every time.
Good.
Got to stand out in the room, right?
Do it. Do it.
There might be a few more this round.
Do it.
But just going back to what you said a second ago, just like getting feedback.
Yeah.
On a deal. So I just, saw Greg's comment where he's like he's more likely to allocate to somebody open to feedback than, say pitching. So like what would you say is the best way to go about asking for feedback on a deal or a fund or something to that effect to where it doesn't come off as pitching?
Yeah. For the past year and a half, I was doing a handful of syndications in home services.
Right.
And the way that we raised all the money for those, and we got a crap ton of soft commitments for a future fund that we may or may not do. The way I did that was I went around and, as they say, don't ask for advice, ask for money. If you ask for money, you'll get advice. If you ask for advice, you'll get money. I saw that in real time because I literally went around and basically said, hey, we're putting together this deal or we're putting together this fund. It's not ready yet. I'm not going to ask you for money. A lot of premises of I'm not here to pitch you. So that way they're off their guard and they're more, willing to have a conversation with you about it. And I say, here's what it is. What are your thoughts? Would you change anything about it? Or is this something you'd ever get involved in? And from there, we got tons of feedback over the course of a year on what to do with the deal, what to change, what to adjust. We're able to turn it into something that people really liked and loved because it was based on feedback from actual LPs. And then from there, a lot of those guys were like, it's actually pretty cool. I'm really interested in getting involved. Can you put me on your list that I want to write a check when you guys are ready to take money? And that wasn't from me asking them for money. That was me asking them, here's the deal. Here's what we're putting together. What are your thoughts? What are your feedback? And initially it sucked. Initially, everybody was like, well, that's a horrible deal. You know nothing about this space. Here's what you need to do instead. You need to get these advisors. You need to change this structure, yada, yada, yada. But then over time, it became, that's actually a really good deal. I have no notes, but I'd like to write you a check. I said, oh, sweet. Let's do it. So keeping it that way of you're, not like a charity case of, hey, help me with my deal, but hey, we're working on putting this together. What are your thoughts? Just kind of as friends of, give me your feedback, Joe. What would you do? You're smart. You know the space. How would you go about it? So that's how I would format getting feedback on your deals while simultaneously raising. Does that help, Joe?
Yes, it does. I appreciate that.
Yeah, happy to. Michelle.
Oh, sorry about that. Matt just said, put your hand up if you need to get back in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Just like put a thumbs up or a little emoji in the chat. Sorry, Jordan.
No, you're good. No worries. No worries at all. Okay. I'll keep going on here. We'll go more questions later. 2 pitches that I would recommend. Number 1, your pitch about yourself. And number 2, your pitch about your deal. These are very different. You are not the multifamily in Houston guy. You are the guy from wherever you are that does whatever you do, that's really good at X, Y, and Z, but also currently has a deal in this space that's doing this. Keep that differentiated because as you meet folks, I don't want to say this as being shallow, but when you meet people at events and when people meet you, everyone's trying to figure out 2 things. Number 1, how do I classify this human? Is this human just a moocher that's trying to ask me for money? Is this human a nice gal that's, I could build a relationship with? Is this human, someone who has significant expertise in some certain field that could actually benefit me? Which brings up the second thing of they're trying to figure out, can this human benefit me? I know that's selfish. I know we're all trying to pull the whole everyone help everybody else. But at the end of the day, that's how people classify everyone that they're talking to is, okay, who are they and what value could they potentially bring to me? Your goal with everybody you meet needs to be making sure they know that you can bring them value, whatever that may be, whether that's through connections or your expertise in something, helping them with whatever they're working on. That's why I tell everyone when you're talking to investors, don't just immediately lead with your deal. Get to know what they are, who they are, what's important in their life, what projects are they working on. Because as you know, we learn in How to Win Friends and Influence People, people are infinitely more interested in themselves than they are in others. So you showing interest in what they're doing, and then on top of that, figuring out how to help them, that makes you stand out. Why? Because everybody else is saying, hey, Seth, I want your money. I've got a cool deal, and I think it would be beneficial if you gave me money. That's what everybody else is saying. If you instead come up and say, hey, Seth, what are you working on? What's important to you? Okay, I want to help your projects, whatever it is that's important in your life. That's how you build a relationship with people. Then later down the road comes the remind me what you work on again, or remind me what your projects are. Cool, let's do something together. So having an elevator pitch about you and yourself and what you are and why you're cool, that's almost more important than having an elevator pitch for your deal. With that, I've got the note on here of use ChatGPT to find different ways to phrase your pitch. I would also practice pitching both your personal pitch and your deal pitch in front of other people, because people can give a lot of feedback. We have our internal voice of what we think sounds good when we're saying it to ourselves, but when you say it to other people, or use the tools out there to create different phrases and different ways of putting it, that can help significantly. That way, when you're talking to people, you look like you have your shit together, you look like you're smart, and you can concisely go through why you're cool and why it's beneficial to build a relationship with you instead of stumbling over stuff and not really having everything coherent. Another thing I'd add, build your online profiles and searchability. As much as nobody wants to be a guru or influencer, myself included, you have to look at least decent online. And I've got plenty of people that I've met that are I'm way too cool, and I don't have I don't have online profiles because I think I'm in the CIA. No, you're not. You're not cool. Get an online profile, make sure it looks good. People are using that to vet and decide if you're reputable or not. Because if they can't look you up on Crunchbase or do background checks on you, social media is how they're going to vet and see if you're any good. And there's no way in crap that they're going to meet some random guy at an event and then hope that they're any good and give them money without doing research on them first. So you want to make sure that you have an online profile that can back up how legitimate you are in that regard. Okay. Got a couple of hands. Are those hands for Matt's thing or hands with questions?
Hey, Jordan, Sunil here. I had a question.
Yeah, talk a little louder, Sunny.
Thanks. I attended the Dallas event, had a lot of fun. I had a question about the audience for this.
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of people with real estate, but how about venture and angel type of investors in tech?
Yeah, a lot. Part of when we're vetting investors to come to these events is we get a lot of people that, they register and they're like, yeah, I'm an investor. I need to come to this event. And we find out their investing is they already have decided what they're investing into, and it's one little niche that's their own personal funnel of deal flow. And we say, hey, you're not an investor, you're investing in your own personal things. We're looking for allocators that are here to find other deals. And so what we'll do is EP and Warren and that team, those guys will get the buy boxes of all of these allocators to make sure that they are going to have a good chance at throwing capital at your guys' deals. And so we've got guys that are coming in. Some of them do have a niche. I'm just looking for real estate, or I'm just looking for venture, or whatever it may be. Most of the guys that come on, and we've been looking through the attendee list in depth, most of them have a variety. They're looking for PE, alternatives, venture, crypto, anything in between. They're looking for tax planning. They're looking for G2 management. They're looking for, buying a plane. They're looking for a variety of things. And that's part of what qualifies them as an allocator in our book, is that they're coming to search for a variety of deals. If they come in and they say, I'm only going to invest in Class B real estate in Dallas. Okay, that's it. Nothing else. Cool. Then sorry, you're not an allocator, buddy. Because it's my job to make sure that the fundraisers, you guys, have a good chance at raising from these people. And so because of that, I need to make sure that these folks are looking for a variety of deal flow. So does that help?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gracia, do you have a question? Going once, going twice. Okay, so okay. Santam, do you have a question? Or no, that was Matthew. Matthew Homer, you have a question?
Yeah, are we gonna have name tags or like color coding depending on who we are or anything like that?
I would bring your own name tags. We do not provide them. We also specifically don't do the color coding because that's something that other conferences do, and it creates a significant segregation. I found that within 30 minutes, you've got a pile of all the startup VC guys in one corner, and you've got another pile of all the real estate guys in another corner, and they don't intermingle. Part of what makes these events magical, as I say, is you get the dude from Hollywood and have him meet the dude from Wall Street, the guys that would never have normally had a conversation together. They're both high-level investors. These events put them together. And so because of that, we don't usually differentiate there because candidly, Matt, if we did that, you would just look for the guys that had the investor tags that also had the real estate tags, and you wouldn't have conversations with anybody else. When investors and fundraisers are a lot more diverse than these categories usually put them into. People, just because they're looking, I've had tons of guys that I get on the phone with them and they're like, hey, I know you do a lot in private equity and alts and stuff like that. We don't deploy into that space, so don't pitch me your deal. And I say, okay, cool. Yeah, nope, I'm not going to do that. My apologies, whatever. And then after 20 minutes of chatting, they're like, hey, by the way, my team's actually done some research on your deal and stuff like that. We'd like to write you a check. And I say, wait, I thought you said that wasn't in your buy box. And guys, the buy boxes and specifics of what people say they're investing in, that's generally just public facing. That's usually to make it so they get some curated deal flow within the spaces they're looking for. But as they build relationships with people, and I've got investors on this call, they can attest to this. As they build relationships with you, their buy box is very malleable. They can look at and throw money at a variety of different things if they trust and have a relationship with the people that are doing it. That's the important part. Does that answer your question there, Matt?
Yeah, that's helpful. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay, cool. Mergen, question. Once. Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll keep going. Okay, how to make this event successful for you guys. Okay, first off, definition of success that I would put it is not that you walk away that night with $10 million in your hands. Now, granted, we've had plenty of people that have done that. We had a guy in Dallas that had first to buy his company. We had a guy in Provo that raised about $8 million just from his presentation. I had a call 2 days ago with the guy who, I think he's on this. Yeah, he's on this call. Where he's like, hey, by the way, we raised about $5 million from Salt Lake event. Just casually, just FYI, really cool. Appreciate it. I was like, dude, sweet. So those are not abnormal, but it's not the only definition of success in these events. The definition of success that I would push on you guys is the relationships, because you can get a lot more long-term capital from people if you've built a relationship with them than just trying to get money from them the first time that you meet them. That's how my dad raised all of his money with Bridge, was he built relationships. There's one example where he was trying to build a relationship with someone from the Marriott family, And it took him 8 years from the time he met the guy to the time he actually got a check of building and cultivating a relationship. When he finally got the check, it was massive because the Marriott family. And it was very much worth all the time he put into it.
Sorry, Jordan. I think Shamani needs to mute themselves.
I was just gonna say that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you for letting me know. If he defined the success of the relationship with those guys based on the first year, it would be nothing, you know? But he knew, like you guys know, that the success in this whole space in finance in general is in those long-term relationships that lead to big deals and doing things together. So just keep that in mind of not just getting a check or commitments that night or that week even. It's getting relationships with people to have those follow-up calls to build those relationships more in depth. That's what gets you the most success here.
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Please.
You know, at different conferences I've been to, those relationship, it is the cornerstone. And getting them on with the CEO and getting forensic and getting down and dirty in the deal, that comes from the relationship. It's sort of it it's what gets the dollars in the end, whether it be a year out or 5 years out.
Agreed.
So I echo that.
No, thank you for that. Thank you for that. On that note, I forgot on the previous slide, we were talking about feedback for your deals and stuff like that. Our team, this is for everybody. Our team is wanting to take time over the next week or two to get you guys feedback on your pitches. So if you're interested, Megan Nelson, if you want to raise your hand so everyone can see you, and then also put the link in the chat and we'll have somebody pin it. We have a link that if you guys are interested, film yourself doing your pitch. Now, I don't care if it's your personal Voss doing his own pitch about Voss or Voss doing his pitch about his deal. Both is great too. And if you can do it right, you should merge them together. But if you're willing to, we'd love to have a conversation of film yourself doing your pitch, submit it to the link that Megan's put in there, and we'll go over it and we'll have a discussion with you and give you feedback on that, good and bad, if you want it. There's no pressure, but again, like I said, we want to do everything we can to make this successful for you guys. And this is just another thing that we've had enough people ask about of, hey, can you give us feedback on how I'm pitching? We want to do that. So if you guys, again, I know nobody likes filming themselves, but it's part of what gets us out of our comfort zones to be able to, improve in that regard. So that link's on there. Thank you for the reminder there, Megan. Okay, cool. Investors are people too. We already talked about that. Qualify them by getting to know them. I say that because I've had way too many folks that go around. They're like, hey, Cambry, are you an investor? Are you specifically interested in AI, NFT, crypto projects? Okay, no, bye. They walk away. That's really not how you should qualify people because it's rude. A. B. Build relationships with people. That's how you get to know a lot of these guys. Like I've said, investors, they're not wearing a little tag on their sleeve that says, I'm actively looking for deals because they don't want to get hounded, A. And B, they also sometimes have their own deals they're raising for. Here's a little insight as to, at least from what I've learned and seen about the family office and investor world. They sit down and have conversations with each other, investors talking to other investors about deals that they're working on. And they do a lot of co-investing and investment partnerships together. Of, hey, I'll throw some cash at you for that deal. You're the expert in that space. I'd love to get involved. You throw some cash at me for this deal that I'm working on. There's a lot of co-investing that happens there. And in order to do that, it's all just through relationships. If they're just going around saying, hey, do you have money? I need money. It's not going to work. Building those relationships, that's where the money flows. You don't need capital. You need relationships to capital. We kind of already talked about that. Build the relationships first. Everything else comes. Prioritize the relationships over money. I think I've pounded that in pretty hard. Okay, couple best practices for this event and any event is, whether you're coming to Jets Capital or Mar-a-Lago or future events or not, this is something that's my dad did for thousands of events while I was growing up. This is something I've done for hundreds of events. This is something that, we've seen it work. It's what's built out this network to be what it is. Number one, don't be desperate. Any guys that come to me saying, hey, I got to raise, 10 million by the end of the month and we're going to go to your event to do it. I say, please don't. I love you. Good luck. Because, that doesn't come across well. And like I said, relationships take time. So don't be desperate or rushed in that regard. Come from a place of understanding. If you're that guy that's coming in talking about your crypto NFT CBD project that you're tokenizing on the blockchain, and you haven't figured out if that person you're talking to knows anything about that space, they're going to be very confused and not know what's going on. And that goes for anything. I was with a buddy that runs a big fund program about 2 months ago, and he was trying to pitch some investors, and he was going into the finance lingo of all their IRR and returns and yada yada yada. And the investor was like, "Hey, stop, bro. I'm just a doctor. I've got some money that we're looking to, diversify or whatever you call it. But I don't know anything about what you're talking about. I don't speak finance." And so you need to come from a place of understanding, see what level they're on and talk to them like it. You'll notice most people that I talk to when I'm at these events or pitching deals, I'm talking to them on a high school level and I keep it very dumbed down. And that's not as an insult to them. It's as it assures that we're both talking on the same page and we both know really what's being discussed in that regard. Because there's way too many conversations in corporate America where people pretend like they know what's happening when they really don't. So keep it on their level. We talked about this already. Have a simple script of you that includes your deal. Be the expert and authority in your space, I think is a big one of, like I said at the beginning, don't be the guy that's like, yeah, we got this cool idea that we're thinking of doing. Will you give us money? That does not give you any authority or power. It makes you look dumb and inexperienced. Whatever you're raising on, whatever you're trying to get people involved with, make sure that you know enough about it, that you are the expert in that space. I've got people in my CRM that my notes on them are, they are the best family office attorney specifically for litigation in this space. And that's where they bring the most value, is they're a huge value add in that they know, I guess they're the authority in whatever they are. So whatever it is you're trying to push, make sure that you are the authority in that space. Next thing is have something different about you. Don't be the guy that just does your deal. There's nothing else. Keep in mind, like we said at the beginning, I'm going to have everybody say this at the end. Investors are people, not just checks. Investors are people. Have something that you include in your pitch about you and in your discussions with people that makes it so you're unique. And it's not just, oh yeah, so the only thing about me is we have a multifamily syndication in Houston that we're raising money for. If that's all people know about you, you're just another guy with a deal and nobody really wants to build a relationship there. So have something. My dad's thing, if those of you that know him, his was charity and philanthropy. And that's not to say he got involved in charity and philanthropy purely to help raise money. That definitely wasn't the case. He's been very heavily involved in that for decades, even before he was raising money. But as he was building relationships with people, he was able to build those relationships on the premise of, oh, it's not Paul Hutchinson trying to raise money for a real estate fund called Bridge. It's Paul Hutchinson that works with Operation Underground Railroad and these other foundations and goes undercover and rescues kids in child sex trafficking rings. That's pretty unique. And because that's something that was unique about him, that's something that everybody was like, well, that's cool. I want to get to know Paul. And as they got to know him, built a relationship there because of the unique things about him. Then come the conversations of, okay, cool. We're talking about charity. What else do you do? What else do you work on? Oh, well, I'm also a partner in this fund that does this, this, and this. And because the relationship was already built, then a conversation about the deals and raising money came very, very smoothly from there. So have something about you that's different aside from just whatever you're raising for. I don't care if it's a charity, a hobby, a passion, an external project. You can talk about your kids. I'm getting heavily involved in politics because that's a passion of mine that I love. But it's also a convenient talking point when meeting people where we can have discussions about that topic and I can build relationships from there that then lead to discussions of, well, what are you working on? Oh, let me tell you about the fund that I'm raising for. Have something else about you aside from your deal. That's what makes you stand out in other people's minds. I'll keep going because I know we're going a little over. Buy boxes are lenient. We already talked about that. Approaching people alone versus in groups. People that are standing there by themselves are the best to approach. I don't want to see any of you guys standing by yourselves ever, because frankly, there's not enough time and there's way too much going on that you should be taking advantage of every aspect of this event. If anybody's alone and you don't have somebody to talk to, walk right up to that person. And there's best icebreakers, honestly, is, hey, how'd you hear about this? Or how long you've been going to these, whatever it may be. Something that's I'm at this event, you're at this event. Why are you at this event? It's a great, very casual, easy icebreaker that can then lead into, well, cool, tell me about yourself. Let's get to know each other. Build a relationship there. People that are in groups talking, wait for the right opportunities. You don't want to be the guy that's pushing yourself and inserting yourself into an intimate conversation. We've seen that before. It's awkward. It's not fun. Which was something where I'd add the second thing of have a buddy at these events, because it's a good opportunity where if your buddy's talking to a group, you can conveniently insert yourself right next to your buddy and it's not awkward. So keep that in mind. Okay. A couple more and we're almost done. I have a deal. I put this in every presentation we do because people going around, I have people that call us all the time for these events. We had one, I think me and Marissa were chatting with one 2 days ago, where they're like, hey, I've got this really cool AI project that is such a value add that you should pay me to come and stand on stage and tell people about it. And we get those all the time. People are so convinced that their deal is so cool and so unique and so high level that not only should they get in the room for free, but we should be honored about the opportunity for having them present their deal to everybody. That's not how the world works. Everybody has a deal. Anyone that calls me and says, hey, I provide value to the room because I provide investment opportunities. No, you need money, dude. That's what it is. And you're trying to have it be salesy and come across as a value add. Investors are not desperate for deals. They get plenty of them. What they're desperate for is relationships and deals that come from those relationships. So keep that in mind of going around the room being like, I'm cool and valuable because I need money. That's not how it works. You're cool and valuable because you're a unique human that has some cool projects and you can bring value to people in the room. But you needing money from people doesn't make me unique because I'm raising money for a fund. So is everybody else. Making sure that you're bringing value to people outside of whatever your deal is. That's how you can be a valuable human to everybody that you're talking to. Okay. Like I said earlier, everyone is raising money, even the billionaires. Keep that in mind. I mentioned this earlier of what your priorities should be with these events. You want people to like you. You want them to remember you. You want them to have and get your contact info. Ideally, exchange it. If you don't know the phone tap thing, Google it, learn it. It's big, it's important. Or I use Popple. There's also plenty of other QR code things. Make it easy to get people's contact info. Don't have it be I've got a cool, unique system I'm trying to push that takes 5 minutes to exchange a contact. Nobody wants that. Make it so it's easy to exchange that contact information. This is the big one. Make them feel that you will bring them value. You want it so when people look at their text thread afterwards, they scroll through and they say, oh, Max Avery, he was cool. He was smart as crap. He had some cool projects going on, and he said he could help me with my thing. That's the priority. Why? Because everyone else, they're going to look through and be like, hey, Bob, oh, he just wanted money for that deal. Okay. Oh, Johnny, he just talked about himself the whole time. He was kind of a dick. Going through all those things, you don't want to be that. You want to be the one where they look at it and they say, yeah, Max was awesome, fun to talk to. He had a cool deal that he was doing, and he can bring me value. That's the big priority, because then they will prioritize having a reason to talk to you. They will prioritize wanting to get on a call and build more of a relationship with you. This should be your priority. Your priority at the event should not be, okay, good, that guy saw every single slide of my pitch deck and he knows everything about our deal. That shouldn't be your priority, because investors are meeting 1 million people that night. They're not going to remember anything about your in-depth pitch that you tried to tell them. You want them to be impressed by you, to like you, and to want to talk to you afterwards. That's the priority. Okay. Last thing, stay updated. Follow me or Jets on LinkedIn. Same with Instagram. We'll post everything we can there. I'm going to be reposting everything about the side events, especially on LinkedIn. So stay updated there. Those are the main things for now. I will stay on as long as you guys need to go through questions, comments, things like that. I've not been checking the chat, so if there's any questions you guys have, please raise your hand. Either way, I love you all. I will see you Friday. For those of you that are hopping off, have fun, travel safe, bring a jacket. We'll see you soon. Let's start with questions. Rafa.
Hey, Jordan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thanks, man. Hey, just curious about the side events. That's the Castle and Griswold events.
Yeah, there's 3 main ones that I know of. Castle and Griswold, they're doing like 6 or 7. Michael Griswold is ambitious, so he's got a whole WhatsApp thread for that. Hit him up, and then also
I'm in that
post
one.
what we can there. There's a impact event that Nicole and Doru are putting on as well. That one is listed on the events that we emailed out to all the attendees, and we'll also repost it on LinkedIn. And then lastly, Sandra Fan is doing one of her BMX events, BMX events as well. I'll be reposting that on LinkedIn also. There's a few other ones that I can't remember right now. But like I said, we will repost as many of them as we see.
Cool. Thanks, Jordan.
Absolutely.
It's
Jordan,
BMG
let me ask you a question. Do you need any more sponsors?
I'll take a couple big ones. In general, most of our smaller ones are filled up. So
Okay. I just got a call. I just got a call from someone who's big, and they didn't know about you, but they have an office in Vegas, and he was like, I could fly out there. Anyway, I'll let you know.
But put me in touch with them. We'll chat with them either way. So
Okay.
thanks, Lil.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, who's next? Mohammed.
Hey, Jordan. Thanks for the great presentation.
Absolutely.
Cleared up a lot of questions that I had in mind. One question, though, on the side events. There's a dinner event that I had registered for, along with the other events for breakfast and stuff that we already got in. But on the dinner one, it still shows pending approval. So I'm not sure what the criteria is for that. Do you know? Can you highlight some of the?
Is it the private VIP dinner?
This is on Saturday, I believe so. That is correct.
Oh, it's on Saturday.
Yeah.
You know who the host is? Because I don't think we're hosting anything Saturday.
There was, I'll
It's
text
one
you.
of the Griswold events, I believe.
It's one of the
Yeah,
Griswold.
it is. It is. You're right. Thank you. Yes.
I would hit up Michael Griswold there.
Okay.
I don't have autonomy on who gets accepted or not there, but I know candidly, I think they just have a lot of folks that are interested in the events. So I would hit him up and he could probably get you accepted and everything.
Gotcha. We'll do. Thank you.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Mohammed. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ben.
Hi, Jordan. It's very nice to meet you. I've been talking a lot to Eugene the last couple of weeks.
I hear it.
Love the organization. So just one thing I wanted to mention. I'm in hospitality. Love your event. Will always help. I'm bringing some people from Tao Group to introduce you guys. If you guys need any help with taking any of your clientele into VIP, into any of their Hakkasan, Omnia, every venue in New York, and I'm sorry, in Vegas, I'm in New York right now, that you guys need, we can create just a direct funnel so there'll be no lines, VIP entrance. This is something we can talk about later, but when people do these kind of networking events, which I also specialize in, a lot of people want to basically group together. They're having drinks. It's fun. They can go to the after parties officially or unofficially. So we can help you guys facilitate all that. Just we can reach out on the side, and there's no cost. It's just a favor that I asked from the head of VIP for the Tau group. That's a friend of mine. So
We love Tau Group. We'll happily do some stuff with you. So
okay, cool.
keep
We'll
chatting
talk
with
later about
EP, and then I'll have him connect us.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Mhm.
Mohammed, did you have another question? Sorry, your hand is still up.
Oh, sorry, no, I
you're
forgot
good.
to just take it off. There you go.
Okay, no worries. You're good. No worries.
Jordan, I have a question. So for someone who never attended your event, like how would I know that I can come?
Yeah. So have you chatted with EP or Warren or anyone on the attendance team?
No, not yet.
Okay. You should go to jetsandcapital.com.
Mm-hmm.
There's a button in the middle that should say, I think, register here. You'll fill out a form, and then from there, someone from our attendance team, probably EP, will reach out to you and do a call with you.
All right. So there is no like specific time frame or anything on it.
I would definitely do it today or yesterday.
Well, I already
'cause we're getting
submitted it.
close. Oh, you
Yeah.
did submit it. Okay.
Yeah, yesterday.
EP, are you on this call? He's probably on an attendance call.
And is that Anna? You're
Yeah.
speaking? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Anna
I'm
got
checking for you, Jordan. Making sure.
Okay.
All right.
If
Thank you
not,
so much.
And I'll have Matt reach out. Either way, he's also on the attendance team.
Yes, great. I will connect it.
Yeah.
Love the tech mom thing, Anna. That's
Oh,
awesome.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, Ben,
Oh,
you got another question? Nope. He just likes having his hand up. Let's do it. Okay. Any other questions, guys? We're excited. We're going to keep doing these events. We do them. Our goal this year is to do one every quarter. So we've got this one that's Q1. We're going to be announcing one for early May. In this weekend in Vegas, we'll be announcing the May event. We're also planning on doing one Q3 that'll probably be either Utah, LA, or New York, trying to decide, and then also something Q4 as well. So at least
Do
four.
New York. Do New York.
I know that's what we're leaning towards. Problem is, everywhere in New York is expensive as crap, so we're working on figuring out cost
I
structure.
know, but you're gonna bring in. I can help you bring in so many people.
Okay, let's chat. If you can help with sponsors, then as long as my costs are covered, let's do it.
Thank you, Lil.
Absolutely.
Of course, of course.
Warren, do you have anything to add? Warren's going to be the MC on Friday, guys. So
Warren's amazing. I'd like to state that he is an all-star.
Thank you, Lil. What I want to make sure everybody understands is that this event is about good people meeting good people to make good things happen. The more value you can bring by being interested in what other people are doing and looking for ways to help, we always like people that are looking to help us. And so with that being said, I've kind of run out of time to talk to a lot of people. I've got a lot more people I'm calling today. But reach out to me or Eugene. We're on all of the different chat situations that we have available. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that everybody can participate, but make sure you find a way to bring value to others, because as you help others, you will also find ways that people will be able to help you. So just look for ways to help others, and I know that this will bring a lot of value to everyone that's here.
I agree.
Okay.
And my group is really excited. We've got Al Buddha, we've got David Robb, we've got Amanda Daniels and me. It's a 4-quad posse.
Excited to have you guys, Lo. So excited to meet you in person. So, okay. If there's no more questions, I'll let you all go. I will see you all Friday, or if you're at any of the early Thursday events, we might hit those up. But either way, I'll see you all Friday, and appreciate you all. So thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much, Jordan.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Travel safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Information things.
Thanks, Jordan.
Boys.
Is this the after party?
No, this was me seeing who's still on and not. So, Matt, I'll
worries.
call you after this.
Okay.
Or do you need anything? You good?
I'm good.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, I'll talk to you later, guys. Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.